Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Imagine carrying a massive professional photography studio right in your pocket. Like, you have the lenses, the depth of field, the perfect lighting control. It sounds incredible, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But what if, to get all of that power, you had to literally carry the weight of a brick around with you everywhere you go? I mean, is that trade-off worth it?
Welcome to Connecting the Dots by Snarful Solutions Group. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
And it is Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. We're absolutely thrilled you are tuning in with us today.
We really are. We have a packed show today.
Oh, yeah. An incredible lineup of tech news that is going to directly impact, how your family learns and how you capture memories. But before we get into all that, let's get you caught up on what is happening outside your door right now.
Right, the local weather.
Exactly.
Right.
If you are listening locally from our home base here in Sacramento, you are looking at just a classic, beautiful Northern California summer day. Expect a high of 94 degrees Fahrenheit today.
Nice and warm. Yeah, definitely warm, but we'll have a nice mild wind blowing at about 3 to 7 miles per hour, which helps.
It really is perfect weather locally. However, if you are, if you're traveling today or maybe you have family flying in, you absolutely need to be aware of the broader national picture right now.
For sure. What are we looking at nationally?
Well, currently there are 177 active U.S. weather alerts.
Whoa. That's a lot.
It is. Yeah. And significantly, 115 of those are overland. That is a massive footprint of disruptive weather.
Geez, yeah, 115 overland is no joke.
No, it's really not.
Yeah.
So if you are hitting the road or heading to the airport today, we highly recommend you check weather.gov for the specific details along your route before you even leave the house.
Absolutely. It is always better to know before you go. Shifting gears to the financial markets, we had a really, really unusual morning.
Oh, totally bizarre.
Right. The data for the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 was actually entirely unavailable at the open today.
Just completely blank.
Yeah, exactly. So we are flying a bit blind on the traditional equities front this morning. It's a rare hiccup, but, it certainly leaves traditional investors just kind of tapping their fingers waiting for the data to populate.
It really does. But, while traditional equities were dark at the bell, the crypto markets, they never sleep.
Nope, 220.47.
Exactly. And we do have the latest numbers on Bitcoin for you. Bitcoin opened today at 64,487.65. and closed at 64,045.04.
Okay, so a little bit of movement there.
Yeah, throughout the trading period, the low dipped just a bit to 64,003.79. Now, if you are looking at the daily change, it's down about 0.69%.
Right.
But context is everything here. Zooming out, the cryptocurrency is still holding on to a weekly gain of 1.01% since last Friday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you've got a slight dip for the day, but it's absorbing that dip where it's staying in the green overall for the week.
It's always crucial to look at the macro trend, not just the daily blip. Finally, a quick check on sports for the baseball fans out there.
Let's hear it.
Well, the SF Giants actually didn't play yesterday, so nothing to report there. But looking over at the American League, the Athletics had a really tough matchup yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
They ultimately lost to the Kansas City Royals with a final score of 5-9. Michael Wacha had a solid performance on the mound and took the win as the pitcher for Kansas City.
Well, getting out there on the mound, or frankly, just getting out the door for your morning commute, it requires the right kind of fuel.
It definitely does. Today's episode is brought to you by Strong Coffee, the premium instant coffee that tastes like a traditional brew, but is packed with 15 grams of protein, MCTs, and adaptogens like ashwagandha. Get clean, sustained energy without the jitters. Use promo code SNARFUL for 20% off at strongcoffeecompany.com.
So transitioning from clean, sustained energy for adults, we are moving right into healthy mental energy and learning for kids. OpenAI just made a massive announcement, and it is going to directly impact the evening routine in pretty much every family with teenagers.
Let's unpack this, because, if you are a working professional trying to balance an exhausting career while also making sure your kid actually understands their algebra homework when you get home well, it is a massive pain point.
Oh, it's the worst.
Right. I remember staring at a math worksheet recently and realizing I had completely forgotten how to isolate variables in a complex equation.
We've all been there.
It's frustrating for the parent and it's frustrating for the kid. But OpenAI has officially launched a dedicated ChatGPT mode exclusively for teens, specifically targeting ages 13 to 17.
Okay, wow. That's a huge demographic.
It is. And the deployment method is what really catches my attention here. You don't have to download a special app for it. It just it auto applies.
Oh, it does it automatically.
Yeah. If the system estimates that the user is under 18 based on, behavior and account data, or if the user explicitly inputs their age as anywhere from 13 to 17, they are automatically dropped into this new, entirely separate teen environment.
That makes so much sense. And it is critical to understand just how different this environment is from the standard interface, that you or I might use at the office.
Right, because we use it for entirely different things.
Exactly. When we use AI for work, we usually want a fast, complete end product, like a drafted email or a summarized report.
Just give me the answer so I can move on.
Yes. But for a 14-year-old, the entire architecture here is built around the process of learning, not just generating an instantaneous final answer. The core educational feature driving this is called study mode.
Study mode, okay.
Yeah, and study mode fundamentally alters the AI's behavior and response patterns. Instead of looking at a prompt and providing the final answer, it uses a technique of guiding questions.
Oh, interesting.
Right. It essentially offers step-by-step support to help the teenager actually comprehend the underlying material.
It's like having a strict but highly supportive tutor sitting right there at the kitchen table who flat out refuses to just hand over the answers to the math worksheet.
That is exactly what it is.
I mean, imagine a student types in a complicated history prompt or a math equation, fully expecting the AI to just write the paragraph or solve for X so they can copy it and go play video games.
Which is what they all do right now.
Right. But instead, the AI pauses and says, okay, let's look at the first part of this problem. What do you think the first step should be? It forces a dialogue.
Which is brilliant.
And it goes even further with the feature called responsible homework reminders.
What is that?
The system can actually recognize the linguistic patterns of a kid trying to shortcut an assignment.
You're kidding. It knows when they're cheating.
It does. When it catches them doing that, when it realizes the prompt is basically saying, do this work for me, it actively redirects them back into that collaborative, step-by-step study mode, add in the new integrated quizzes and visual learning tools, and you have a remarkably robust educational ecosystem.
It really is a paradigm shift for education.
Yeah.
And because we are dealing with minors, the guardrails are incredibly strict.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Definitely. OpenAI built this entire mode on their updated under 18 model spec. That means the system actively restricts and blocks any content around self-harm, eating disorders, and violence.
That's essential, yeah.
But they went a step further into the psychology of how teens interact with chatbots. The system actively blocks romantic language or role play.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't even thought of that.
Yeah, it's a big deal. The AI is specifically programmed not to encourage emotional dependence, and it will never imply that it has feelings or a consciousness. That is a vital psychological boundary for developing minds. They've even built in sensitive image upload warnings.
So it scans what they upload.
Right, so if a teen tries to upload a photo that might be inappropriate or identifying, the system intervenes immediately.
That is great peace of mind. And for you, the parent or guardian, they've introduced powerful, customizable parental controls. You can set up quiet hours to enforce screen time breaks and ensure they are actually sleeping.
Essential for teenagers.
Seriously. Or you can set default study hours, meaning that, let's say, between 4.0 and 7.0 p.m., the restrictive, step-by-step study mode is automatically engaged.
So it locks out the easy stuff.
Exactly. It locks out any other AI functions right when homework is supposed to be happening. But here's where I have to push back a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
We're talking about teenagers. And teenagers are practically engineered by nature to find loopholes. I mean, they are the ultimate hackers of household rules.
They really are.
So won't clever teens just find a workaround to trick the AI into giving them the answers? Or will this friction, this constant refusal to just give the answer, genuinely build critical thinking?
Well, you are entirely right to be skeptical because teens will absolutely try to jailbreak the homework helper.
Of course they will.
But OpenAI actually anticipated exactly that. And it's why they brought in heavy-hitting learning science researchers and pedagogy experts to design the system. They relied heavily on the cognitive science of active retrieval and self-explanation.
Active retrieval, how does that work in this context?
Let's explain how that works. When you just read an answer, your brain processes it passively. It sits in your short-term memory and then it just vanishes.
Right, like cramming for a test and forgetting it the next day.
Exactly. Active retrieval is the process of forcing your brain to search its own memory banks to pull out a piece of information. The friction you're talking about, the AI forcing the student to recall the formula or explain the steps out loud, is the exact mechanical trigger in the brain that leads to stronger comprehension and much longer-term retention.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, it physically builds neural pathways. By making it incredibly tedious to trick the AI into giving the final answer, the system essentially makes actually learning the material the path of least resistance.
That is fascinating. It's essentially using the teenager's desire to just get it done against them, tricking them into genuinely learning the material because the AI just won't back down.
Exactly.
It's a massive relief for busy parents. You suddenly have an uncheatable, entirely safe tutor available on demand, specifically tailored to be age appropriate.
It really represents a profound shift in how we use AI to process text and abstract concepts. But we are not just processing text anymore. If we connect the idea of AI processing homework to AI processing the physical world around us in real time, the technology landscape gets even wilder.
Let's look closer, because while OpenAI is changing how we interact with information on a screen, Apple is apparently about to fundamentally change how we interact with our immediate physical surroundings.
Yeah, this is huge.
And this isn't just a rumor. This comes from an incredibly detailed leak discovered deep inside the release candidate code for the upcoming macOS Tahoe 26.7.
Exactly. Software developers, they constantly dig through these release candidate codes because companies often leave traces of unreleased hardware in them.
They always leave a crumb trail.
They really do. And in this case, the code revealed a short, fully produced video demo of camera-equipped AirPods.
Cameras and earbuds. That is wild.
Let's be very precise about the terminology here, though. These specific earbuds have the internal code name B790.
B790, okay.
This distinction is vital because it proves this is entirely separate from another long-rumored camera AirPods project we've been tracking, which is codenamed B798 and isn't slated until 2027.
Oh, so this is happening much sooner.
Yes. This B790 model we are looking at today is practically finished and could launch as soon as next month in September.
September. Wow. In the leaked demo video hidden in that code, we get to see exactly how this works. And honestly, it feels like science fiction.
It really does.
A man is holding up a physical book in front of him so that the tiny cameras embedded in the AirPods can see the cover. And a voiceover says, "With visual intelligence, your world becomes savable. See something you like, just ask me to save it for later."
That is just incredible.
The camera lens on the earbud feeds the visual data directly into Apple's new visual intelligence system. Siri then instantly processes that image, recognizes the book, and is able to answer questions about it, summarize it, or quietly log that information into your notes for later.
The sheer hardware engineering required to pull this off is staggering. I mean, visually, the code reveals they look very similar to the current AirPods Pro that so many people already wear.
Right, the little white stems.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
However, there is a physical change. They have a noticeably thicker stem.
Oh, to fit the camera.
Yes. That extra millimeter of thickness is required to house the microscopic camera hardware, the image signal processor, and all the wiring without compromising the battery or the acoustic drivers.
That's a lot to pack into a tiny space.
It is. And because they are putting a camera on something that sits flush against your head, there is a fascinating, deeply human software detail included in the code.
Oh, what kind of detail?
The operating system will actually push an audio alert to you if your hair is covering the camera lens.
No way.
Yeah. The specific text string for the alert reads, "To get the most accurate information about things in your environment, make sure AirPods are not covered."
That is hilarious. It is basically a photographic memory on demand for your brain. Think about the real-world impact for you on a daily basis. I mean, think about your morning commute or walking through a grocery store. How many times a day do you see a flyer for a community event or a concert poster or a landmark you want to remember?
All the time.
Normally, you have to stop walking, dig your phone out of your pocket, unlock it, open the camera app, and snap a picture. It's a whole process.
It is a hassle.
With these, the memory logging becomes entirely hands-free. You just look at the poster and whisper, "Remind me to buy tickets for this tomorrow." But again, I have to ask the practical, everyday question here.
Okay.
Is it going to be incredibly annoying if a slight breeze blows your hair across your ear and constantly triggers a camera-covered alert?
That's a very good point.
And more importantly, the social aspect.
Yeah.
Are people going to feel weird knowing the person sitting next to them on the train or in a coffee shop has cameras physically pointing out of their ears?
Well, the social friction of wearable technology is always the absolute highest hurdle for any company to clear. We saw it years ago with the earliest iterations of smart glasses, where the cameras made people incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, people hated those.
They did. But the integration into a device that millions of people already wear constantly, the AirPods, completely changes the social dynamic. Society is already entirely accustomed to seeing these little white stems in people's ears.
That's true. They're everywhere.
Exactly. The addition of a microscopic camera doesn't drastically change the silhouette of the device, aside from that slightly thicker stem we mentioned. The wearer doesn't look like a cyborg, they just look like someone listening to music.
Right, they blend in.
As for the hair alerts, that is going to be a massive user experience test for Apple's engineers. If that alert is too aggressive or, overly sensitive to a stray strand of hair, users will get annoyed and simply turn the feature off entirely. For wearable tech to succeed, the operation has to be invisible and seamless.
Seamless is the exact right word. But processing all of these new, incredibly high-fidelity visual inputs from your earbuds, alongside complex AI requests, requires serious hardware power.
Oh, massive amounts of power.
And it requires a deeply integrated home ecosystem to store and manage all that data. Which brings us to the massive wave of other hardware leaks, also found buried in that same macOS Tahoe 26.7 release candidate code.
Yeah, the code was an absolute goldmine. The biggest, most impactful piece of hardware news centers around the upcoming iPhone 18 Pro model.
So it's changing there.
A massive leak originating from the incredibly reliable source Ice Universe on the Chinese social media platform Weibo, which was later corroborated by internal supply chain files from Apple supplier Tata Electronics, details a fundamental shift in mobile camera technology.
A fundamental shift? How so?
The leak confirms that the iPhone 18 Pro Max is exclusively getting a variable aperture camera, utilizing a brand new Sony IMX905 sensor.
Okay, let's break down exactly how this works and what it means for you without getting bogged down in the dense photography jargon.
Please do.
Think about the camera on your phone right now. From the iPhone 14 Pro all the way through the upcoming iPhone 17 Pro, Apple has utilized a fixed aperture, specifically an f1.78 aperture.
Right?
What that means is the physical opening that lets light into the camera lens is locked. It is permanently wide open all the time. By moving to a variable aperture, the iPhone 18 Pro Max will feature tiny, physical overlapping blades inside the lens that can mechanically open and close.
Wow. Like a real camera.
Exactly. It changes the physical size of the hole letting light in, operating exactly like the pupil of a human eye or a professional DSLR camera.
That mechanical action is everything. The physics of light dictate that when you can manually shift the aperture, closing it down to a tiny pinhole or opening it wide, you gain absolute physical control over the depth of field.
Which is huge for photos.
Huge. Currently, when you take a portrait mode photo on your phone, software algorithms are artificially blurring the background to make the subject pop.
Yeah, the digital trick.
Right, it's a digital trick. And sometimes it cuts off the edges of someone's hair or blurs the wrong thing. A variable aperture allows for incredibly sharp, natural focus on subjects with that smooth, authentic, optical background blur created by actual physics, not software.
That sounds amazing.
It is, but physics also dictates a very real cost. As the leaker explicitly noted, to get this absolute best camera experience, the physical mechanics require so much space and heavy glass that the resulting phone will weigh like a brick.
Oh, wow. Weigh like a brick. It's like cramming a massive professional photography studio right into your pocket, but you're literally carrying the weight of a brick to do it.
Yeah, it's a serious trade-off.
And it really makes me question Apple's broader strategy here. Are they fracturing their Pro lineup too much?
Oh.
If you are a parent who just wants the absolute best camera to capture pristine memories of your kids, you are basically forced to buy the giant, heavy Max version of the phone. Doesn't that actively alienate people with smaller hands? Or anyone who just doesn't want to lug around a massive, heavy device in their pocket all day?
It is a very valid concern regarding how they segment their devices. The last time Apple differentiated the Pro models this sharply was with the iPhone 15 line.
Oh, right. The zoom lens?
Exactly. If you recall, only the larger Max model got the tetraprism telephoto lens, which is the technology that uses mirrors to bounce light sideways inside the body of the phone to give you a massive zoom without needing a physically long lens sticking out of the back.
Right.
By making this new variable aperture exclusive to the iPhone 18 Pro Max, they're drawing another very hard line in the sand. If you want true pro-level family photography without lugging a separate dedicated DSLR camera to the park, you have to accept the physical size and the heavy weight of the largest device they make. It's a compromise the consumer is simply forced to make.
But the heavy new iPhone wasn't the only unreleased product lurking in that code. The sheer volume of upcoming tech found in the macOS Tahoe 26.7 release candidate shows us just how deeply interconnected this entire ecosystem is about to become for the average family.
The list is staggering. Let's start with how this impacts the smart home.
Okay, what do they find?
The code explicitly references new, dedicated home hub devices, codenamed J490 and J491.
Okay, 2 new hubs.
Right. J490 is believed to be a smart display version with a base that sits on your counter, while J491 is meant to be seamlessly wall-mounted. These aren't just iPads. They're running an entirely new operating system internally called Pebble, which is expected to be publicly branded as HomeOS.
HomeOS, so it's treating the house like a device.
Exactly. It turns the house itself into a cohesive computer. Alongside that, there are references to an updated HomePod Mini codenamed B525, which is running a mysterious new firmware called Argentium.
Wow, so a total smart home overhaul. And on the audio front, moving beyond the camera-equipped AirPods we just discussed, the code mentions 4th generation standard AirPods Pro labeled natively as AirPods Pro 1.4.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it even references 2 distinct variations of unreleased baseline AirPods 5 models, codenamed B868M and B868E. These are expected to feature a brand new updated H3 chip.
An H3 chip, that's a big upgrade.
Right. For the user, a new chip means drastically lower latency, so the audio syncs perfectly with your movies, and significantly better overall sound processing.
That's great news for audio fans.
Oh, and for the Mac users trying to get work done, there is a clear reference to J804 that indicates an entry-level 14-inch MacBook Pro getting the blazing fast new M6 chip before the end of the year.
And amidst all this incredible hardware, we cannot overlook the stark software restrictions highlighted in the code regarding Apple Intelligence in China.
Oh, right, the regulatory side of things.
Yes. There are very specific strings of text indicating that the new AI-powered writing tools will face strict, mandatory edits in that region. The system is coded to trigger safety alerts and actively restrict text editing based on regional compliance laws.
Wow.
It is a very stark reminder that while technology feels universal, these global interconnected systems still have to navigate very different and very strict, localized regulatory environments.
When you zoom out and look at all of this together, the wall-mounted home hubs running HomeOS, the variable aperture iPhone cameras utilizing physical blades, the camera-equipped AirPods logging our reality, and the AI actively tutoring our kids at the kitchen table, it is incredibly clear.
It really is.
We are stepping out of an era where devices are just tools we pick up when we need them, and stepping into an era where they are ambient, continuous assistants deeply woven into our daily lives.
Before we wrap up today's discussion, a quick thanks to Old Glory, an iconic music and sports fan merch store. Perfect for the techie in your life. Use promo code SNARFL for 15% off at oldglory.com.
To bring all of this together for you, today we explored how technology is fundamentally transitioning into an invisible, highly capable partner in our day-to-day lives. We saw it clearly with OpenAI turning ChatGPT into a safe, method-driven tutor for teenagers. A system that actively enforces critical thinking and active retrieval rather than just giving away the easy answers. We saw it with Apple preparing to launch earbuds that can literally look at the physical world around you, allowing you to log your memories entirely hands-free.
And we saw it in the massive hardware evolution required to power all of this. Processing that level of visual and auditory data requires devices like the upcoming iPhone 18 Pro Max to house professional-grade, physically variable camera lenses, sitting alongside a deeply integrated complex web of smart home hubs, new M6 chips, and advanced audio devices.
It is a lot of incredible information to take in, but it leaves us with one final, fascinating thing to chew on as you go about your day.
What's that?
If our earbuds start remembering everything we look at, and our AI tutors learn exactly how our brains process and retrieve information, how long until these systems start waiting for our commands entirely and start predicting exactly what we want to see and learn before we even ask?
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.